Hi everyone, Procrastinating Turtle here. A while ago I saw a video by Hoops and Hip Hop about their thoughts on what the 9th generation of Pokemon could possibly be like. In this video they theorized about the year of the game's potential release, region, and Firestarter. This video got me thinking about the next generation as well, so today I wanted to share my thoughts. No spoiler though, so if you want to see if we agree on any of these topics, if you haven't already, check out their video next, which I have listed down in the description box below. Real quick, I want to apologize ahead of time as I am sure I will mispronounce some of these places and animals. Now let's get into it. First, I want to talk about where the 9th generation region may be based on. Right now, half of the generations are based on areas of Japan, as seen on this map, while the other half are based on regions around the world. If the 9th generation was to be based in Japan, I think it would be based on one of two regions. The area around Hiroshima and Yamaguchi, which would be between Johto and Hoenn, or in my opinion, the more likely area would be from Fukushima to Omori, which would be located north of Kanto and south of Sinnoh. I'll explain more about why on that later in this video. If the 9th generation is based on another area outside of Japan as the previous 4 generations have been, I have a few places in mind. These places are India, a combination of Australia and Papua New Guinea, and a combination of Greenland and Iceland. Why these areas specifically? Simple. Pokédex entries. Without going through every single Pokédex entry, I can think of at least 4 dex entries that allude to that Pokemon being from another unknown region. The first dex entry I want to talk about is Corsola. This dex entry is why I believe a region could be based off of Papua New Guinea and Australia. In both Pokemon Silver and Fire Red, Corsola's dex entry states, in a South Sea nation, the people live in communities that are built on groups of these Pokemon. South of Japan includes the Philippines, Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, and Australia, among other nations. In this region, there is an island approximately 1,300 miles off the coast of Papua New Guinea. On the island of Pohnpei is an ancient city of Non-Madal. This city is built on a coral reef. Could this city be the basis of this dex entry and thus hint at a region near Papua New Guinea and Australia? The next entry is one of the newer Pokemon introduced in Gen 8, Copperajah. There are 3 species of elephants Copperajah may be based on. 2 are found in Africa and 1 is found across Asia. While there may be an argument that Copperajah could be from an African-based region, if you look at Copperajah's head and ears, it is more likely it is inspired by one of the 4 species of the Asian elephant, the Indian elephant. This is even more likely when you consider the other part of Copperajah's inspiration and name, copper. While copper is found as well as mined in Africa, half of the world's copper is found in 4 areas. Africa is not one of the 4, but South Central Asia is. This region includes India. The last dex entry is also one of the newer Pokemon introduced in Gen 8, Ice-Q. It is inspired by penguins, right? It is the penguin Pokemon, so it must be? I'm not so sure. Its dex entry says it drifted to Galar from a frigid place. As Galar is based off the UK, the closest frigid place is Greenland. However, there are no cold environment penguins in the Arctic. While a penguin has somehow traveled from the Antarctic to New Zealand, it is unlikely an Antarctic penguin could make its way all the way to the UK. While Ice-Q may be close to the size of an emperor penguin, I think it is more likely that Ice-Q is not based on a penguin, but the extinct gray auk. The gray auk belongs to the genus Penguinus. While they are not penguins, it is believed that penguins are named due to their resemblance to the gray auk. While the gray auk spent a lot of time in the open ocean, they could be found in Iceland, Greenland, and Newfoundland. The white beak of Ice-Q could also indicate the Pokemon could be inspired by the American coot as well, which have been known to travel to Greenland and Iceland. Now for the Firestarter. For a while now there has been a theory floating around that the Firestarters are based on the zodiac animals. Following this theory, the next Firestarter should be based on or inspired by an ox, horse, sheep, or snake. Now some may say that this theory can't possibly work, as Finnegan, which is thought to represent the dog, is not a dog, but a fox. Foxes belong to the Canidae or canid family. This family includes foxes, dogs, wolves, and others. Another argument used to debunk this theory may be that we already have a fire horse Pokemon. While Ponyta and Rapidash are fire-type horse Pokemon, with the exception of the Galar region variant, there are many examples of similar Pokemon with the same type as a starter Pokemon. Since we were talking about fire starters, let's talk about a fire type example. Finnegan and Vulpix are both box Pokemon. Another fire type example is the Chimchar line and the Pansear line. They are both monkeys. While Chimchar is the chimp Pokemon, Monferno and Infernape clearly have tails, and according to Britannica, apes do not have tails, therefore they are monkeys. A water type example is Poplio and Seal lines. Both Poplio and Seal are sea lion Pokemon, and if that wasn't enough similarity, while Primarina resembles a mermaid, Seal's evolution is Dugong, and Dugongs are one of two real-life animals that are thought to be the inspiration to mermaid tails. The grass type is no exception. For this we have the Chikorita line and Tropius. Well, more so Bayleaf and Meganium than Chikorita. Despite Tropius also having the flying type, these three Pokemon appear to be based on sauropods. Another argument that has been made to say that the starters are not based off of the Zodiacs is that the Charmander line is said to represent the dragon, but the Zodiac starts with the rat. While this is true, it would be too obvious if they had started with a rat and went in order. However, I am not sure that the Pokemon creators initially started with the idea, but sort of just fell into it, or they fell in love with the fan theory so much that they just went with it. What if I told you that the first Pokemon games, Red and Green, were released in Japan in 1996, the year of the rat? Coincidence? Perhaps. Or what if I told you that every pair of the mainstream games had their initial release in different Zodiac years? Gold and Silver in 1999 in the year of the rabbit, Ruby and Sapphire in 2002 in the year of the horse, Diamond and Pearl in 2006 in the year of the dog, Black and White in 2010 in the year of the tiger, X and Y in 2013 in the year of the snake, Sun and Moon in 2016 in the year of the monkey, and finally Sword and Shield in 2019 in the year of the pig. If this is intentional, then Generation 9 would be released in either the year of the ox, dragon, sheep, or rooster. As this year, 2021, is the year of the ox, it is doubtful that Generation 9 would be released this year, as the average time between mainstream game releases is just over 3 years, and it has been less than 2 since the release of Sword and Shield. If we go by this average, then Generation 9 should be released in 2022. However, as I said, if it is an intentional pattern that Pokemon games are released in different Zodiac years, 2022 is the year of the tiger, and we already had a release with Black and White. So then Generation 9 would be released in 2024 in the year of the dragon. While a 5-year gap between releases seems like a long time, it would be the longest gap. There have been 2 instances where there have been a 4-year gap between mainstream game releases. The first being between the release of Ruby and Sapphire and Diamond and Pearl, and the second being between the releases of Diamond and Pearl and Black and White. Similarly to how there is an average of just over 3 years between the releases of mainstream games, there is also an average between the releases of the remakes. This average is roughly 5 years, as to date there has only been 3 remakes of Red and Green, Gold and Silver, and Ruby and Sapphire. Going by this average, there should have been a remake of Diamond and Pearl around 2019. Now, with all the hints and alleged leaks of a Diamond and Pearl remake popping up lately, it is likely to be released sometime this year. Or, it would be unfortunate, but over the last 24 years, Pokemon has skipped a whole year between releases. 7 times to be exact. The last time being nearly 6 years ago in 2015, the longest amount of time between skipped years. On average, they have skipped a year for every 3 releases. Somewhat like leap year, but instead of gaining an extra day in the 4th year, there is no new Pokemon game, mainstream or remake. So we are bound to skip a year soon. While some may argue 2020 was a skipped year, the Crown Tundra and Isle of Armor DLCs were released, and I am counting those as complimentary games. Also, with the Let's Go games in 2018 seemingly being a remake of Pokemon Yellow, and thus the beginning of the remakes of the complimentary games, there may be a remake of Crystal in the works. If it is, and these remakes follow the average of the mainstream remakes of 5 years between releases, then we could potentially see a Crystal remake released in 2023. So my final prediction is that in 2021, this year, a Diamond and Pearl remake be released. 2022 would be skipped. In 2023, a Pokemon Crystal remake released. In 2024, Generation 9 released in the Year of the Dragon. I am split on the region in Firestarter though. If they base the region on Japan, it could have a goat starter based on the Japanese Sero, as it is the national symbol of Japan. Although I believe it would be more likely the region to be based on the Amori region, with a horse Firestarter Pokemon, as the northern area is known for the Katachimi horses. Also, perhaps since the Umar region gets on average 26 feet of snow a year, we could potentially get a fire ice type starter. Or at least one could hope, right? Since we got a fire and ice type Darmanitan in Gen 8. However, if they base the region outside of Japan, I believe the region would be based on Australia, as it would be interesting to see a snake Firestarter possibly based off the Taipan. This is partly due to Corsola's dex entry, as I said earlier, but also Kamala. This Pokemon was introduced in Sun and Moon. It appears to be based off of koalas, which are found in Australia, not in Hawaii where Alola is based on. Also, in the Moon dex entry, it says that the log it holds was given to it by its parents at birth, and the Sun dex entry says it is born asleep and stays asleep. Kamala does not evolve, so what parent gave it the log? Hopefully, if we get an Australian-based region, we could see an evolved form of Kamala. Hopefully, we will find out if any of this could end up being true, as the 25th anniversary is coming up soon on February 27th, and I'm sure we'll either get a potential release or a big announcement. What do you think about my predictions? Let me know down in the comment section below.